Hello, podcast people. Today's Wednesday, and I hope you're having a good week. I'm here today. Thank you for tuning in. And I'm here today with a special guest who is also a dear friend, Rayhan.
Hi, I'm Rayhan. I'm 15, sophomore, going to MacArthur High School. Follow me on Instagram, Rayhan_phase.
That's spelled Fayz. So I remember I met Rayhan this year.
Yes, last
like
semester.
How exactly?
We met because I was looking for my friend Fiza, which is friends with both of us.
Yes, I know.
In the cafeteria, and I had just stayed away from a lot of other people. And I started talking with Fiza at her lunch table, and Alicia was there. So you know what? As a nice person, I talked to her and tried to be friends with her, I guess, because we were both friends with Fiza. So I just.
What was your impression, though?
My impression was that she was actually really funny and cool because she started joking around and she wasn't really shy to talk around me. A lot of people they stay pretty quiet when they see me start talking because I'm not even gonna lie, I'm really loud. I
They're really loud
constantly. So I get the impression of stay quiet when someone else is talking. So I like the fact that she was talking and not really afraid to speak in front of me.
No, I feel bad because I thought the complete opposite. I did not like you in the beginning because you were so loud, and I always told Fiza, I said, hey, I don't like that girl. But then Fiza would always tell me, no, she's really nice, Rayhan, she's loud, but she's a good person. And I didn't, believe her until I don't know. Eventually I decided to start talking to you.
Which I didn't even notice that she didn't like me. She never showed that.
I know, because I keep it to myself. I don't want to, because I'm not the type of person that just,
She stayed pretty neutral with it. A lot of people, when they dislike me, I can see the signs and I back away from them.
I'm a judgmental
trust
person.
Trust me,
but...
I've had years of backing away from people because they're annoying, judgmental, and just I can't use this word on the podcast because it's probably a PG-13.
You did ask me, can I curse on the podcast?
Because she was such a bitch. I just didn't like her.
Okay. So, basically, I have a few questions to ask you because I couldn't really think of much. So I said, why is Rayhan, why did you really want to come on my podcast? What makes it special about you or special about the podcast?
I don't know. I watch your podcast whenever.
Watch my podcast?
Or I listen to her podcast. I put in my headphones and when I'm doing my skincare routine, washing my face, or I'm walking around the house, I'll just listen to the relatable things she has to say. And we have a lot of similar things in common when it comes to life and stress and choices that you have to make. So I just wanted to.
Wait, really? You relate to me?
Yes.
Okay.
I just wanted to overview how I felt because we have similar feelings about certain things. We have different choices as well, but overall we're pretty much really similar in a way of
yeah, but we
thinking.
are. We are, right?
Yeah.
And the way we act. And
yeah, and the
we
way
joke around. Talk about that. This leads back to the lady asking me, why you gay? But, so, talking about having things in common, I was going to ask, what is your background? Because you have many, my father's from Haiti and my mom's Puerto Rican, so yes, I am mixed Afro-Latina. And it's a discussion I like to have with people because they believe that in order to be mixed, you must look a certain way or be a certain way. Which is not true. So I know you would love to educate some people on your cultural background.
I do have a really big opinion on that. A lot of people assumed that I was Indian or Asian or any part of that area, but I'm surprisingly African American. My parents are both from the continent of Africa. My mom is
which is a continent, not a country.
My mom is Moroccan and my dad is Sudanese. My mom, since she's from Morocco, she's very, very white and paler, while my dad is really, really dark because he's from Sudan where the Nile River is and it's really hot over there. So
the hotter the darker.
Yeah. So that's when they came to the US or whatever, and I was born here, so they consider me African American or black on my birth certificate, which a lot of people don't believe. They'll be you don't look black. So
I honestly did not think you were
acting black.
But then you told me, and I was like, oh
and,
my.
like, a lot of people get surprised when they see my dad. Like, I remember my dad came to the school this one time to drop off food, and everyone was so surprised when they saw him as, like, a tall, 6-foot black guy. They were like, that's your dad? Why is he so dark?
Yeah, people need to stop, like...
Like, you can't categorize African Americans as, like, the way you see them in America. Unless
also, they're not the only black type of people in the world.
You have to go outside the world, which I have. I've left the country. I've been to Morocco and Sudan. And there's different types of Africans in which a lot of people don't know about, which, to be honest, nowadays, I don't stress over. If you don't think I'm African American, I really don't care.
There's no need to argue about it.
I remember back in middle school, there was, like, a lot of controversy over the fact that I wasn't...
Controversy in your middle school?
It was controversy. It wasn't controversy, but it was, like, people...
were skeptical, didn't believe you?
Yeah.
Which is dumb.
Because when they look at me, I'm, like, a really skinny, like, tall
I thought
girl,
you were just a Middle Eastern, to be honest.
A lot of people do think I'm Middle Eastern.
Which is understandable and okay, but, you know.
I'm not really darker, but I'm, like, in the middle of, like, tan, I guess. And... I just don't resemble a lot of African Americans. My sister, on the other hand, Yasmin, she's older than me. She's 17. She's more built as an African American. She has curlier hair than I do. She looks like an African American, but she looks light-skinned. I clearly do not have any of those features.
I feel you. I'm, like, totally different from my family. I'm the only black person in my house. Like, it's hard. It's hard. They don't get it. It's hard. Like, it really is. Even if I'm not, like, that dark. Like, it's still hard, okay?
And, like, that also, like, being different can also affect, like, my relationships with my friends. Because I know a lot of my friends are, like, African American or, like, ethnically... have a background that isn't diverse. Caucasian. They're more diverse.
Like Fiza's Pakistani.
Exactly. So with that diversity of friends that I have, a lot of them question who I am as a person, like, because no one really at this school is like me. They usually have the same parents, or they'll have black and white parents, but since my parents are both not from this country, they speak Arabic, and it's not a language that a lot of people know here at the school or
for sure don't.
In Texas. They get confused by who I am. A lot of my religion as well. It affects my relationships, and I don't know. It's just...
And that just makes you you.
It makes me the way I am. And
some people, like a certain person...
Some people take it into offense, and they think the way I look, it shouldn't be. I know that recently I had to, like, stop being associated with a certain person because they were offended by the way I looked, which is clearly their problem and not mine. If I look in the mirror and I feel like I'm normal and I come to school, then I feel like I'm a person that should be appreciated and not someone that should be offended constantly just because I don't look the same as everyone else. She took something I said into offense, which I didn't mean to say, and she said what she had told me about my appearance was how she felt, which means that even if I had apologized and had said something and told her that it was on accident, that it wasn't going to work out because she was offended by the way I look and the way I act. And if you are, I tend to back away, which does happen with a lot of females as well. A lot of women, like, don't empower each other. We break each other apart.
Oh, and that's Ignite. I forgot to bring that up.
We have a group
called Ignite. It's basically, well, it's not... Okay, I used to say woman in politics, but it's just more than that. Like, over the years, I've known that. And this is why I met you some more this year.
It's a lot of women empowerment. We don't want to bring each other down because we've noticed that women especially, we tear each other down when men bring each other up constantly, and that's how they get so many privileges that we don't. And I've noticed that if you are a woman that brings me down, then I shouldn't bring you up. I shouldn't feed into your negativity, which is the group that we try, Ignite, every Wednesday.
And it's like we learn more about each other. Like, just because our appearance may be one thing, that doesn't mean we're not special or we're not cool, or just because a girl likes to wear makeup and have her hair done and everything, that doesn't mean she does not like comics or engineering and stuff like that.
It's a lot of stereotyping, and we just want to be the way we are. There shouldn't be anything holding us apart from each other. And I feel like that's what happens a lot here. And we just need to stop tearing each other apart and bring each other together.
Rayhan is amazing at Ignite. You should be there. And that's also, we don't, also, like I said before, we don't tear down other sexualities, genders. Like, it's only girls, but it's because I feel like if it was guys and girls, it'd be more of a debate.
It really would.
Of an Ignite, because there's things that I know guys would be like, that's not true, so-and-so.
But they have to live through it.
It's okay to have your opinion, but, like, sometimes we just need a safe space for women to share their thoughts and how they feel and how we can better the world. And
again, it's different because, like...
And meeting new girls is pretty cool, too.
It's harder because men don't go through the same things women do.
Of course
constantly.
Not. Especially being black and Hispanic
being
and mixed race.
Being ethnic and a woman is really hard, but being a woman in general is one of the toughest things on its own. I think people give a lot of credit to men because the stereotypical man is he's working for his wife and the wife is at home, but if you look at it, the wife isn't just sitting at home doing nothing. She's taking care of things there. She's doing things that benefit the male. It's supposed to be a partnership.
And today I had someone say that, because there's a girl in our school who's pregnant, and we're all 10 sophomores, and he said and I will say this, she's a whore. Like, he told me that, and I said, don't ever call her that, just because she said, like, maybe she should have known to use protection, but if you're going to call her that...
There's just a lot of things that happen that you have to take into